Hey guys, welcome back to The Poor Investor. Today, I'm just gonna go over what I got my child for her birthday this week. You know, she was asking for a Nintendo Switch, even though we already had one. She shares it with my older son, but she wanted her own, and I just couldn't bring myself to actually buy another Switch just so she can have her own, especially when each one of them have an iPad, and including my youngest one, he even has like a kitty tablet, and he's only 3 years old. So we're going into this whole crazy world of electronics. Everyone has their own personal device, and they haven't even gotten to the age where they needed their own phones yet. It's a pretty sad realization that we're living in this world where electronics and these little gadgets and devices pretty much rule our world. Now, I say my kids actually have iPads just because it's a requirement. The schools actually require them to have iPads. What did I end up getting my daughter for her birthday? Because she wanted a Switch, which I declined. So instead, I sat her down the other day and we said, you know what? I'm going to start you off with your Roth IRA. And the reason why I did that is because when she gets to the older age, she'll have a nest egg where it doesn't have to rely solely on how much I make right now or other things that I may hand or pass down to my kids. So each one of them right now, as far as the two older ones, I have 3 kids, the 2 older children, one is 9 and the other one just turned 6. I started a Roth IRA for them, and it helps them tremendously because it just guarantees later on that this nest egg of money, it'll be tax-free when they start withdrawing for their retirement. Now, there are other things you can do with a Roth IRA, which you can actually borrow against it. First-time homeowner, if you wanted to buy your first primary house. And there are other things that you can use your Roth IRA. You do not necessarily, without penalties, necessarily have to wait to your retirement age, which is like 59 and a half. So here I have a Fidelity account, and there is a Fidelity Roth IRA for kids. Now, I have seen other YouTube videos where you have to, start a corporation, pay your kids so they can contribute their money into this Roth, but there is a custodian Roth IRA with Fidelity. That's where I have it, and I created 2 additional accounts, and then you can customize it by naming so you know which kid belongs to which Roth IRA. So here you can actually see a really high level overview of what you can do with the earning grows federally tax-free. Withdrawals are tax-free. Of course, there's stipulations on that, and at what age. At 59 and a half, death, disability, qualify first-time home purchase is tax-free. You don't get any penalty for that. So I think this helps them grow tremendously. What I actually did, opposed to buying her a first Nintendo Switch or a personal one, opposed to the one that they share, because I really don't think they need more than one, I ended up putting $1,200 into this account that I started for her. It's actually my primary Roth IRA account, and I contributed to $1,200 to hers because I'm a custodian of hers, including my son. So in this case, we're going to use her as an example because I just started it. So she just turned 6 years old, put $1,200 in here. Let's just say for the rest of her life, she continues, or I continue to, contribute to when she actually starts making money, only $1,200 and an annual rate return of 10%. And I'll explain why I say 10%. Her current age is 6. Her retirement age, I could put 59 and a half. We'll just put 60 for this case. Marginal tax rate is 25%. So the marginal tax rate, I actually fall within this range of the 25-26%. And the marginal tax rate is the amount of additional tax paid for every additional dollar earned as income. Our inflation rate will be 3%, even though this year has been a lot more than 3%. But if you average it out, we'll just say 3% for this calculation. Of course, you can hypothetically put whatever inflation rate you think is going to be averaging going future, like going to the future years. So if we calculate this, I put $1,200, or she picks up from the age of 18 or whenever she makes money, continue to put in $1,200 when she gets to her retirement age, or 59 and a half or 60 here. When she reaches 60, based on this calculation, because it's compounding, will be $2,256,710. And here they have a chart with a regular taxable savings account where you would have had this amount, $838,251. Equivalent purchase power, of course, is a lot lot lower in comparison to the Roth IRA, where it's tax-free because you're putting money that's already taxed into this account. And of course, at the end of the day, total taxes is zero because none of this Roth IRA at the age of 60 will be taxable because it's money that's already taxed being put in. So that's why people usually recommend Roth IRA, because it's upfront taxes, and anything it compounds and accumulates throughout the course of the years till you retire is not going to be taxed. Opposed to the traditional IRA, everything that you contribute now would not be taxed, but when you start gaining and compounding and when you start making withdrawals, that's when it'll actually be taxed. Because honestly, I would rather get taxed on $1,000 now than to get a tax on $1 million later on in life when I'm about to retire. That would just be very painful to do. Here at $2.2 million based on a $1,200 contribution yearly. That's $100 each month till the day my daughter retires. I don't have to necessarily keep on contributing, or I could just help her contribute to when she's old enough to find a job and then do her own thing. Now, let's just say you wanted to contribute more than $1,200, just to say $2,000 annual contribution going forward. Maybe I'll hit the lotto. So obviously, as you contribute more, it'll be a lot more within this account. Now, the max you can contribute is $6,000 every single year starting now, even though this year or her birthday, I only put in $1,200 at a 10% annual rate increase. At her current age to her retirement, she will have $10.4 million in this retirement account, which would be a pretty nice nest egg. And I have this for my oldest child, and then I will start one for my youngest child as well, so they're all on the same page. Now, how am I getting a 10% return? There is a couple of things that you can follow, you can go through. The most simplest is what I've done. So if you look up stock market average rate of return is 10%. Of course, there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs. Every year is going to be different, but if you average it out, it's going to be between 8 and 10%. So how do you pick something that will give you a positive return? Now, the easiest thing I can think of, and I know, is buying the SPY ETF, which is the S&P 500. So each year for the S&P 500 has been always in the positive, and you can see averaging right now, the lifetime of the S&P 500 is 9.95%. So if you want to dig deeper into the S&P 500, there is a chart, the portfolio holding. It shows you every company that is holding within here that combines it to this positive interest return every single year. This was the S&P 500. In my opinion, if that was to go down, that means every single company has to be doing ridiculously horrible in order for the S&P 500 to go down. And of course, I do buy other stocks within the holdings of their Roth IRA, but for the most part, because I don't feel like I want to constantly manage their accounts, I stay on the safe side by investing in the S&P 500, so that way I know that I'm always going to be in the positive. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this video, and that was just a little take on what I gave my little girl for her birthday starting off. I want to thank you guys for being here. Please remember to hit that like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again soon.